www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. That's www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. I want to say thank you for all the people who have been watching on Facebook Live. And now we're off Facebook Live, so let's go on.
Yeah, so, what was I just talking about? I'm sorry.
Well, you were in a room, I kind of take it, kind of shoved you in a room basically to keep you out of their hair, probably. I hate to say that, but I mean, and, that would bring out insecurity right there.
Yeah, it wasn't a good situation. So, and it is partially the reason why my book isn't out yet, because I don't want to, certain things I've been trying to hold back from exposing. So, but if I'm going to tell my story, I'm going to tell it 100%. So that's part of it. So anyway, so, I'm in this room and so when I'm feeling uncomfortable and I hear the thunderstorm coming and I want to feel that breeze coming in, I want that window open and all of a sudden the window would open by itself. And I remember one time my stepsister came in. She goes, "What are you doing? It's going to rain out. You got to shut the window." And so she shut the window, and I'm like, "Oh man!" So she walked out, and as soon as she walked out, I'm thinking, "I want that window back open." The window opened up, and so things like that started to happen to me. There was like something there that was kind of helping me out. That was trying to keep me comfortable and was there for me, and I knew this. I could feel it. So then all of a sudden, the night I got hospitalized, finally my mother and stepfather came home from the bar intoxicated, and luckily, they decided that night they would take me to the emergency room. And so, but before they did that, I was laying in bed, aching, feeling just horrible. The only sensation, this is how sad this is, I put the sheets between my index finger and my thumb, and I was just rolling the sheets back and forth in between my thumb because it gave me some kind of feeling of something, and because I wasn't able to do anything else. And I'm just sitting there doing that, and next thing I know, all the achiness went away, the loneliness went away, and the best way I can describe it is I felt like I was a part of everything. I could sense what everybody in the house was doing. I knew where they were, like I was a part of them. They were a part of me. I was a part of everything, and everything was a part of me. That's the best way I can explain it. And it was a very surreal feeling, but a very real. It was very real and very, so I don't know. So then I noticed at that moment there's somebody sitting at the foot of my bed around my knee area, like they were sitting on something, but there was nothing really there for them to be sitting on. But anyway, so here's where it gets bizarre. And I've told this story before, but just recently I started telling it. I'm not holding out details now because I don't care, because this is the way it happened. This person that was sitting there looked like somebody or something that was trying way too hard to look human. There was something very off about it. It had a red and black plaid shirt on that was crisp and clean. It looked like brand new. And this gentleman, he had dark skin, almost like Native American or Chilean or some kind of dark skin like that, and black hair that was combed, almost like combed, to the point where it looked so perfect, almost like it was too perfect, like it was a helmet that was just placed on top of a head, It didn't look real.
It was like the hairstyles like of the late 50s where they used to grease their heads?
Kind of like that, yeah. Comb back, kind of grease like that, but it didn't look real. It didn't look, it looked so artificial. There was something odd about the whole thing. But at the same time, it didn't feel like these alien things that were at my bed at night. This one didn't feel that way to me. Now, I'll get into that other thing after. But so this felt different to me, and what this being or this person said was, don't worry, you're going to be okay. This is happening for a reason. You're being brought here so you're tuned so you can come back. You're going to be ever connected to us, and we're going to be connected to you because you're going to help people for the rest of your life. And then he told me things that I use to help people with parasitic attachments today, things a 10-year-old could never have dreamed of. I'm talking about some very scientific things that I didn't understand at the time. It wasn't until I really started to delve into this as an early teenager, having, I'm a lot more mature at the time than most kids my age, and very, much more advanced. But having a very thirsty mechanical aptitude, really delving into this with an open concept and a process to identify trends. And I started to make sense out of what he told me. I'm like, oh, that's what that means. This is what that means. And I started to apply what I was given, this gift of knowledge, and it works every time. So I've helped thousands of people over the last 30 years without one fail. And it's much different than what everyone else does with these parasitic hauntings. They go with religious tactics and stuff like that, and they don't work, almost never work. And if they do, they work temporarily, and it doesn't sustain because, and we'll get into why that doesn't sustain. But anyway, getting back to that part, so he says, you're going to help people for the rest of your life. You're being brought here so you can be, and he said, tuned to this, so you know how to get back here, so we can be connected. And he said, we try to reach you through dreams, but we couldn't do that. So now this is happening. And it didn't, at the time, it didn't really dawn on me right away, but I thought about it a little while later. Was I had a reoccurring dream my whole life. And the dream was, we're camping as a family, and there's a raging river, really wide, and the river's going so fast. And on the other side of this river, there's like an island or something, and there's a fire going, and there's all kinds of people over there, beings, and there's people of all nationalities, skin colors, and they're all dancing around this fire. Some of them are dancing around the fire. Some of them are just standing there, but they're all waving me, come over. It's like they're celebrating that I'm there. They want me to come over. They want me to come over, and I want to go over there. But every time I attempt to, my mother would take me into the camper, say, "You can't go over there. Don't go over there," And so I think that's what he was talking about with the dream. So then he said, now this needs to happen. And he said, but you're going to be okay. Now, the weird thing about the sickness was the doctors never knew what was wrong with me. They ran tests. They never found out what was wrong with me. When I was in the hospital, after I was in ICU for a few days, and then I got transported into another wing. And I remember watching Monday Night Football at the time, and this nurse comes in, and she was dressed differently than the other nurses, and again looked like somebody trying way too hard to look like a human and way too hard to look like a nurse. But there was something peaceful about her, but also not natural. It was weird. But she came over, and she stood by my left side, just beyond my field of vision, just behind me, just enough where I couldn't see her anymore, and she was just stroking my hair, and she says, I miss doing this with my son. I miss spending time with my son. And then she says, you're going to be okay now. Everything's going to be fine. You're going to be okay. And I remember just being so comforted because I hadn't had that in so long that I fall asleep. And I wake up hours later where the nurse comes in the middle of the night and shines a light in your face, make sure you can wake up. And I said, where's the other nurse? Where's the other nurse? And she goes, what do you mean? She goes, people called out sick. I'm the only one covering this wing all night long. She goes, and there's nobody here to name that. And so, yeah. And so after that, with that happening, and then also these other encounters. Now, I don't relate the two. I don't relate.
I want to go back and ask you a couple questions about the guy with the plaid shirt, the grease hair, the nurse that was too good looking to just didn't look right, from the standpoint of what a nurse should look like. Maybe they were taking your thoughts of what you would think a nurse would look like at your age. Again, with the guy sitting on your bed, could have been a gray there, and imposing that into your brain, not to scare you and to make you feel more comfortable, letting you, imposing that what do you call it? That looks like a human, but again, how can I say it? They exaggerate what a human looks like because they really don't know how we dress, how we grease our hair, and all that stuff. So all that type of stuff right there to me is a dead giveaway. Something is going on and manifesting right there in your room.
Right, absolutely, and we know, like say. We know extraterrestrial aliens are known to do that or reported to do that, but so are these parasitic entities that are haunting people. They do the same thing. They'll appear as a 7-year-old cute blonde girl in your house just to get you to pay attention to her. And hey, Sally, we're home from work now. And you start giving it attention. You're feeding it. You're giving it attention. And next thing you know, it's not Sally. It's somebody ripping your house apart. So, but what was different is, like I've been dealing with these parasitic entities, like I said, those nasty hauntings, and I've helped thousands of people with them over the years, and they're easy for me to get rid of, and I got their number, and I say that because this information was given to me as a gift, so I'm humble in that, and appreciative of that, but they feel different than these things that were at the bed when I was sick. They didn't feel the same. Now, to me, the visitations, these extraterrestrials that come at night and I believe take me, they feel a lot like the parasitic entities that I deal with. And I'm not one of those people that are saying that aliens are demons, because I don't buy that at all.
Well, I want to step in.
If anything, it's the opposite. I think the things that people think are demons are very strongly a possibility that they're actually extraterrestrials or aliens. I don't think aliens are demons. I think it could, if anything, it's the other way around. And I'm not even saying that for sure. Until I can prove it for sure, I won't say nothing for sure. Excuse me.
Well, Shane, I have this philosophy, of interviewing a lot of people who've been abducted. A lot of stories on my, like 2 months ago, we did a whole month on UFOs and abductions, stuff like this. I look at, this planet has been rebooted several times. The Great Pyramid, for example, I don't think man made it. Or if they did, we were as slaves for somebody who created it. There's no way they could have transported those huge blocks, the distance through the sand or create canals with water and bring parts of the blocks down that way. I think that it was all done by, something out there. I also think, and I mentioned so many times, the Sphinx, they have come to the conclusion the wear marks on the Sphinx. For years, they thought, it was created by sand. Now, recently, they came to the conclusion, no, the wear marks on the back of the Sphinx was created from water, from an ocean or something, waves, current, whatever. It tells us that puts us before our humanoids walking the earth. So face this, going back almost to the cavemen. Going into the caves, the drawings that they have found, like people, flying in the sky in some type of contraption with a helmet on and some type of a suit. Oh, come on. Would a prehistoric man or a caveman or someone after that generation be able to even comprehend that? I don't think so. So I know that we were visited from the start. Maybe they even started all this. So sometimes, when people talk about God, I do believe there is a God. But, the people used to pray to the sun, to fire god. You name it, they had a god for it. And then all of a sudden it was to one God only. And it makes me wonder, if God might have not been God, but we even comprehend. Men has always had to have something to believe in. They had to. They had to have something. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here today. Civilization wouldn't have been here if we didn't have those beliefs. But wouldn't it be horrible one day to wake up and find out all this believing in Christianity and all this stuff was not what we think it is? Maybe it was from aliens. It kind of seeded our world. And that's why the demons, they might not be demons as we think they are. They could also be aliens or species of the aliens that are here to try to destroy us. So it's a lot of ways you can go with this.
Yeah, and this is what I've been talking about, and I'm glad you brought that up because I see a lot of these religions I have a problem with, and I have for